Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Today, we're going to recap and talk about Married at First Sight, Season 16, episode Who Knows, but way too many than we needed. Um, Basically, this episode starts out with Clint taking Hank around town, and it's kind of funny because they try to make it seem in like when they showed previews like he was stealing Hank, and all he was taking this dog around. But in this, we probably get the best scene of the season, which is a confessional from Hank. And the producers ask him a question and he barks, and it was so cute. Okay, sorry, I'm obsessed with Hank. He's adorable. But yeah, I thought that was really cute. Then we see Chris and Nicole like talking about moving into their new place, blah, blah. No one cares about them. Honestly, they're not even interesting anymore. But one thing that happened during their scene that I quickly took note of was the fact that they were talking about getting all the family together for Thanksgiving. That's huge if you think about it. This last episode was taped in November of 2022. We are in June of 2023, and the reunion happened maybe about a month ago. So if some of these people haven't seen each other, they haven't seen each other in a long time. So getting them together for this reunion is going to be very interesting. So I am excited. I think that in the past, we never really could gauge the timeline, but because of that comment that they made, we have a pretty good idea of how long it's been since that last episode was taped. And that was prior to Thanksgiving of 2022, which is clearly more than 6 months ago at this point. But yeah, that was pretty much that happened with them. Dom goes and meets with her mother, and she tells her about Gina and Mac. She's like, oh, I think it's weird, but I don't care. And I do think it's weird. I think everybody thinks it's weird. You should not switch spouses, at least on the show. Like, you should wait till the show is over before you start talking about switching spouses and whatever, you know? But her mom was like, oh, I feel like it's my fault. Ma'am, it is. It is your fault because you signed up your 25-year-old daughter to get married at first sight. And yes, she did go along with it, but you knew who your daughter was. You shouldn't have done that. I like Dom personally. I have no problem with her, but come on now. You shouldn't have done that. By the time she was meeting with her mom, she had turned 26, but honestly, waste of time for all involved. So she tells her mom that she contacted Gil and she's going to go out with him. And then we see Eris. Eris goes on a date with a girl named Kendra, who was also trying out for the show. And I guess she was like, oh, she saw me on the show and she contacted me. But that really doesn't add up based on the math, because if this season started airing, right, like when did they take these? If they were talking about Thanksgiving, basically they lied to us and it's a setup. But either way, we don't have to get into the nitty gritty. We know they lied. They set them up. She was like, oh, she watched the show and contacted me in November. The show hadn't even aired yet. Let the math when y'all talking. Like, you could have just said, someone told me about her, whatever, and that's what happened. So he went out with this girl, and honestly, I don't know why she wasn't picked. Like, because she was asking, she's like, why do you think that I wasn't picked? Or this and that. I'm like, girl, right now you sound desperate, and that might have been why you weren't picked. Because you on this date, and I don't know if, maybe Eris didn't find her attractive either, but he wasn't, it was like, that conversation was like pulling teeth. He didn't really want to talk to her. She was asking all the questions. She was initiating most of the conversation. And so it was just kind of like, why y'all have us here? Maybe because they don't want to go sign a contract with the random girl Eris wants to date, or they don't want to pay them, or whatever it is. But please don't waste their time. You could have picked another girl. Why do you keep finding these really Christian women and trying to match them with Eris? Like, that doesn't, it literally doesn't make any sense. It's actually a very stupid thing. And I think production is stupid for doing that. Stop doing that. It doesn't make any sense. But that made me mad because she's like, my non-negotiable is being Christian. Okay, well, it sounds like Eris is not Christian, so why are we here? Like, very, very weird. Then the fact that they just keep trying to put things together to get these people to hang out. Like, Nicole had a doggy birthday for her dog, Charlie, who's turning 2. No one else who had a dog brought their dog to that party. It's not a dog party. I've been to dog parties. I take my dog. If you go into a dog party by yourself, then that is no longer a dog party. They just want y'all to get together. I don't even believe Charlie turned 2. I need Nicole to tell me when Charlie's birthday is so I can confirm. I think they just wanted to have a reason for them to get together. And Mac comes and Dom's there and he hugs her. Immediately after hugging her, he goes into the confessional and starts talking crap. Like, if you don't like her, why are you even being cordial? Because me, I'm not cut the shit. We're not cool. I can say hi to you, but I'm not going to hug you. I'm not going to do all that because that's extra. To do all that and then be like, I could do without seeing her. Then why'd you hug her? Because you initiated it. Rewind the tapes. You initiated it. Why are you doing all that if you didn't want to see her? It's just, I find Mac to be so annoying. Sorry. I mean, I know a lot of people out there really like him and think Dom is this immature girl, and I'm not saying that she isn't immature, but like, come on now. He's doing a lot. And then Kirsten shows up and she's so funny. She's like, I'm a dog lover from a distance. And that's one thing that I feel about this show is like, I love dogs. I have a dog. But it's like, they always try to make it seem like that's a personality trait. Like, I mean, I guess it is because these people be going hard. But it's okay to just not want a dog. I think that's the crazy thing. It's like, once you get involved with someone with a dog or that, it's like, oh, I have to get a dog or I want a dog or this and that. And it's like, it's okay to not want a dog. Same thing with Stassi. Stassi at her season. Stasia or Stassi? But basically on her season, she and her man watched Kristen's dog. And they were like, okay, we're not really dog people. Like, and that's okay. You don't have to be a dog person. But I don't like how there's this narrative that everybody has to be a dog person. Everybody isn't a dog person. Everybody, maybe you like dogs, but you don't want one for yourself. And that's okay. Crazy enough, I feel like since Decision Day happened, we're getting so much personality from Kirsten. Like, I like who she is. Like, I really do. I feel like if this is who she was during the season, I feel like more people would have sided with her at this conclusion. And I feel like this might be who she was with just Shaq, but we don't know. And I think that would have changed the public's opinion of her. I feel like she's very vocal. She's speaking things out. She's saying stuff, explaining how she feels, what she's thinking. And that makes me really like her. She doesn't want to be Shaq's friend, and I'm on her side. You can't tell me you don't want to stay married to me, but you want to be my friend. I don't want to be your friend. I didn't come here to get friends at first sight. The friends that we get are a byproduct of this show, but I didn't marry you to be your friend. And if you don't want to be married to me, leave me alone. So I'm on her side. Gina meets with her mom and her stepdad. I don't know what happens. I think that conversation was useless. Honestly, I don't care for much of Gina either. Then they show Mac back in Michigan, and I'm like, why are you still following this guy? Him, Gina, Chris and Nicole, Dom, all of them. No, I'm just kidding. Not all of them, but it's like some of these scenes that you're having of them by themselves, they're not main character energy type people. And so when you put them by themselves or like trying to do stuff, it's not interesting. So just a hint to the producers, make sure that the people have main character energy, because if they don't, it's a blah scene, a blah 3 minutes or 2 minutes or however long you guys focus on them. Jasmine and Eris go to meet up with Shaq. And it's funny to me that they're so cool, but I think this is, again, my analysis of it is that Jasmine is cool with Eris because despite him not being attracted to her and whatever, he didn't let her embarrass herself by saying yes and him saying no, which is what Shaq did. Because I believe if Eris had done what Shaq did, didn't give her a heads up beforehand that he was going to say no, so she could say no, if she would have said yes, Eris would have said no, and she would have felt exactly like Kirsten. I think she would have been upset. I think it would have been a problem. But because she got that heads up, she kind of knows exactly how Kirsten feels to tell Shaq, like, she's upset, she's embarrassed. I mean, she doesn't have to like you for you to have given her a heads up. You could have been like, hey, you know what? I'm not really. I think that's the problem I have with Shaq. Y'all have been together for these 8 weeks, and yes, decision day is supposed to be a surprise to us as a viewer, but you could have told the person. It doesn't have to be a surprise for your partner. That's the person you're married to. So to go there and surprise them with a decision, it's kind of fucked up. Excuse my language. Sorry. It's kind of effed up, to be honest, because I'm like, why would you not tell them? You have been with them for the past 60 days and you didn't think, let me tell this person, hey, I'm not really feeling it. I think I'm going to say no on decision day. Where are you at? Or, hey, you know, I'm up in the air. I'm leaning more towards yes. How are you feeling? Where should we go? What should we do on decision day? And he didn't do that because he wanted to embarrass her. He wanted to embarrass Kirsten for whatever reason. I think it's because he's sassy as hell. But he wanted to embarrass her because she was not attracted to him in the beginning. And so that's why he did that. And so when him and Jasmine and Eris meet up and they're talking and they're like, well, how did you guys get here? I want to be friends with her. You don't want to be friends with her because if you wanted to be friends with her, you would have respected her enough as a friend to say, hey, I'm probably going to say no. I'm not feeling it. Where are you at? I want to be friends with you. I don't think this relationship is working. No, he wanted to embarrass her and then be like, okay, but let's be friends. It don't work like that. You can't go embarrassing somebody, putting them out like that, and then being like, yeah, but let's be friends. Because me personally, you would have got cussed out. I don't care. I don't care. National TV or not, we gon' get to the drama because I'm cussing you out. They gonna have to cut it. It'll be like beep, 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 beep. You bald-headed. I'm petty. Kirsten is not. That's the difference between some people. Shaq would have said, oh, I'm embarrassing her. No. You will be embarrassed by the time we leave there. So, because I just feel like if you wanted to be somebody's friend, you could have done that with more grace. Decision day could have gotten much better. And he chose not to because to him, he didn't care. Now he wants to look like the good guy that, oh, I'm trying to be her friend and she doesn't want to be my friend. No, she doesn't and she shouldn't. Then, okay, what's going on? So then Gina meets with a divorce lawyer. I didn't realize that MAFS doesn't give them their own divorce lawyer to kind of handle these things. Like, honestly, that's kind of crazy. I mean, if I had money or, you know, something, property, whatever, I don't think I'd want to go on MAFS like that because if you guys have me marry somebody and what if that person's petty? Like, oh, you said no? Bet. I'm taking all of your stuff. Like, at least supply them with that. And maybe you don't have to tell them at the beginning. This is something that you can tell them after the decision day. So it doesn't seem like, oh, I'm going into this and I'll make a decision because I know that the divorce lawyer is going to be paid for, right? Kirsten meets with her cousin that did the dinner with her and Shaq's family friend. And she was just telling them that her and Shaq decided not to stay married. And her cousin, based on what she was getting, is like, it seems like Shaq wanted the perfect package. And that's true. I think Shaq thought he was going to get somebody that's going to fit right into his life and just keep going and nurturing and taking care of him. It was like, okay, I'm marrying you for you to take the place of my mom, my aunts, my family that has been nurturing and taking care of me this whole time. That's what I want you to do. Like, I don't really care for a wife. I just want a second mama or a second, more aunties, more cousin, and you just gonna fit in into that role just like that. And her cousin was right. It's not fair to her, but it's also not fair to him, because it's like you are putting this expectation on somebody, but you're also putting it on yourself to have to mesh with someone that is exactly like how you thought up, instead of meeting somebody, vibing with them and being like, okay, I can work with this, or we can get to a place where we could work together. I don't know. I think her cousin was very spot on, very, very wise in her thoughts about them. And she was right. She said the same thing. I want to talk to him. Like, why do we have to be friends? I just don't get it. I think that Shaq expects a lot. Clint meets with a breeder. The dogs were cute. The puppies were cute. And I think that, I don't know, did I say Shaq? Clint meets with a breeder. I think that Clint really does want a dog, but I also feel like it's a storyline, right? Like, if you weren't going to that breeder to pick up a dog that day, because he's like, oh, I have to think about it and consider and this and that and make sure my schedule is like, I don't think it's really about him getting a dog. Maybe he knows he can't take care of a dog right now, but it's like a story now because of how much he loves Hank and how much him and Hank have gotten along. Now here is where we get to the good part, okay? I don't know if I skipped stuff because honestly, I don't really care about this episode, but Dom and Gil get on their phone date call. Whew, I don't know what Dom was thinking, but girl, Gil don't like you. And not only does he not like you, he was like lecturing you. I don't know, maybe, I don't remember Gil talking to Mirla like that. And maybe because Mirla was closer to his age and he liked her or whatever. But I feel like he got on that call like an expert. He was over here giving advice like, in life, you have to do this and this and this. If I get on a call with a man that I'm potentially trying to get close to and he starts lecturing me the way Gil is lecturing me, I'd have been off the call. I'd have said, cut the cameras, cut all of this. I don't even want this scene here. Say it didn't happen. He lost service in Houston. He didn't have no phone service for us to make that call, because that was the most cringe date that I've seen in a long time. I was like, oh no, baby. And then she was like, I'm really excited for what's to come. I'm like, I wanted to pray that interview came prior to the actual date, like they just did it before, because I'm like, unless they cut out them really talking about something, I don't know why she would be optimistic about the call. The man said, I'm really busy for the next 4 weeks. Y'all, he said, I'm really busy for the next 4 weeks. 4 weeks? You're not gonna make no phone calls? You're not gonna text nobody? Like, God. The shame that entered my body when he said he gonna be busy for the next 4 weeks. I'm like, oh, he don't like her and he's trying to let her down easy, because if she hits him up in 4 weeks and 1 day, girl. And I'm just hoping, really, really hoping that this was one of those relationships that they try to build up. Like, oh, who from a previous season did you think was cute? And she was like, oh, Gil was cute, you know? And that was that. Like, that's really what I'm hoping happened. Because if not, embarrassing, okay? It was embarrassing. I was like, Dom, no. I felt so bad for her. I did. In my spirit, I did. Like, in my spirit, I felt embarrassment and I felt bad for her. But, you know, she didn't seem embarrassed. She was very optimistic. I think she thought the date went well. Like I said, I don't know if it was an edit thing, but girl, don't ever call that man. Delete that number. Block him on Instagram. Like, all of that is a no. Then what happens next? So then Kirsten and Shaq meet up because they were planning to meet up. I don't know why. I think once it's done, it's done. But they meet up, and First of all, Shaq's dressed terribly, per usual. The shirt he was wearing was hideous. And Kirsten basically is like, so why were you crying when you gave that decision? And she has brought it up so often that I think she really wanted to know, because I did too. Like, why were you crying? And he said that he was crying because he made a decision for him. And the reason why that pisses me off is because I feel like there's nothing that Shaq did during this entire season that wasn't for him. I think he was very selfish, very self-serving, and every decision, action that he took was for him. So to now give this BS story about like, oh, I'm crying because I made a decision for me, is like, cut the shit. You only think about you. Like, I didn't even see you think about another person during this entire season. So what are you talking about? It was just annoying to me. And he was like, so where do we go from here? And my girl Kirsten was like, our separate ways. Oh God, I love her. I really do. I like her a lot. Because why? Why are you playing in everybody's face? Mostly mine. Why are you playing in my face? I told you, Shaq is a cameras guy. When the cameras are right there in his face, he has the right thing to say to make him look like the good person he wants everybody to believe that he is, which he isn't. That is what he knows how to do. If it's not the main cameras, I'm sure it would have been different. But because the cameras were right there, right in front of him, mic'd and everything, he was trying to make himself look good and be like, oh, look, I'm trying to still be nice and reach out, and she is just completely rejecting me. And it's like, yeah, as she should, you know? But that was it. And then right after, he goes into confessional, was like, see, she's not nurturing at all. My grandma died and she didn't be like, do you need anything? Why would she even do that? Can you imagine dumping somebody and expecting them to be there for you? I can't even get words out, because I cannot believe that he had the audacity, or some people say audacity, to say something like that. I can't believe she didn't ask if I needed anything. Go ask your friends, your mentees. I'm sure they'll help you out. Why are you asking her? Somebody who you dumped on national TV. You're not getting, honestly, he's lucky that she called him. I told you, Petty Boots over here would have sent a text or nothing. I mean, I'm sorry for his loss, of course, but it's like, do you even want to hear from me? You said you don't want to be married to me. Like, why would you want to hear from me? I'm somebody you don't like. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I would see it. Like, I clearly am not somebody that you like. And because you don't like me, why would I contact you? Like, maybe a text, the phone call, okay. I don't think it's wrong. I actually think the phone call was the right move. But anything more than that, way too much. And he's expecting way too much if she thought she should have done more than that. So that just pissed me off. I'm like, you chose to be on your own. That's what you wanted, and that's what you're getting. You wanted something else, you should have given a different answer. Or, again, he did not have to say yes. He could have said no, but he could have told her ahead of time so they were on one accord at decision day. So finally, the group goes axe throwing. I say the group, but Kirsten doesn't go, and obviously Mac is not there. And they go axe throwing, and everybody's kind of talking and joking. Oh, I think Shaq didn't go as well to axe throwing. And Eris, okay, he wearing a blazer with a hoodie. I don't know why that is a very 2007 look to me, but I hate it. Hate, loathe entirely. That's how I felt about that jacket with the hoodie. I don't know if it's Tennessee, but some of these people is tacky. Dom's outfit last episode when they was flower picking, hideous. I don't know. Like, I want to know, like, what stores those outfit choices are available at. And maybe if you style them better, maybe they would be good. Or maybe it's just Tennessee and they just sell, like, bad clothes. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so Gina calls Mac while they're there, and he doesn't answer. And honestly, I think that Mac doesn't even really like Gina. I think Mac just wanted to stay on the show and keep being seen, you know, and have more things to do, because they even talk about it on the after party, which they're both on. They never even went on a second date. And they barely like talk to, like, you know, keep in touch like that. So I'm like, he was just faking. He just wanted to stay on the show. He was trying to find a reason, and Gina was it. You know, that was it. Because we already know he don't really like black girls. They just matched him with Dom because he said he would date outside his race, and Dom definitely dates outside her race. That was pretty much it. Um, then I don't know what happened. I actually don't know how it happened. Maybe it was because Mac and Gina were flirting, or trying to talk, but they were like, "Oh, Dom and Clint, you guys should be together." Now, what's tea is, I actually think that's the better couple. I know. Dom is only 25, Clint is 40, but I think that's the better couple based on what she seems like she wants, which is a sugar daddy. I think that's the better couple. Like, and I think besides her body not fitting Clint's usual type, I think it's the better couple personally. So then they're all a little tipsy, drinking. And so they're like, "Oh, if you guys both throw the axe and stick it, you have to kiss." So Clint throws his axe, it sticks. Dom throws her axe, it sticks. And so they kiss. Now, the kiss was just a kiss. It was like, okay, they kissed. But then after they separated, Clint pulled her back to kiss her again. And this time, there was tongue. I'm like, oh, okay. It's getting a little freaky in here, you know? It's axe throwing. It ain't the bedroom. So I was, well, like I said, I think they're the better couple. So I think it actually was cute. I am sold on that couple. I wish Clint, you know, maybe go a little easy on his body standard, because I think him and Dom would make a good couple. And Gina was like, "That's how I know I did not like Clint, because that didn't make me feel away." Girl, when they pan to your face, you look like the biggest hater, okay? Because you was trying to figure out why he never kissed you like that. That's what you look like. She looked like she was mad. Maybe she wasn't really upset, of course, because even her and Mac went on the date and they didn't kiss. Which also lets me know that, oh, you're so attractive. I was definitely so attracted to you. But we're going to leave this date and not even touch. Maybe just do a little church hug. Come on now. Y'all don't like each other. Save us the foolishness. Y'all don't like each other. Y'all was faking. But yeah, so then this episode ends with them just all talking about like what they learned, what they want moving forward. And Dom and Clint walked out together, but you could tell it was like jokey, because as soon as she realized that the camera wasn't really on them, she let go of Clint. But I hope they give it a shot, or at least talk, or I don't know, maybe have casual encounters, enjoy each other a little bit. I definitely think it's a much better couple, because Dom wanted somebody who was settled and mature, and Clint is kind of a young guy at heart. So a 25-year-old isn't really that bad. I mean, it's bad, of course, but not that bad. But yeah, so ultimately the season is over. We are finally getting to the reunion, and I'm super excited for that, because again, like I said, it's been 6+ months since some of these people have probably seen each other, or who knows, right? So I'm excited to see how they interact. This is the best part, right? Because now you've seen the show. You've seen what the people have said about you in the clips that you didn't know, right? When you weren't there. So now you're going to get the real, and people are coming to the reunion to give the real, right? So I'm hoping that this reunion is as good as past season reunions. Also, on another note, this next like tell-all episode, I probably won't recap it, but they bring back old people from old seasons to talk about this season and other things about MAFS. And I didn't know that Lindsay and Steve Noy had something or talked or whatever, because she was mad at the kid. And mind you, I've always thought Steve Noy was a little fake. Like, I didn't really like him. He seems like somebody who just likes attention and isn't really there for love or whatever, but whatever. But I'm excited to see that too, because I didn't know that. I don't follow them on Instagram. Um, but if anybody knows what happens, please comment below and let me know what happened with Lindsay and Steve Noy. Were they together? Did they talk? Did they go on a date or something? I'm actually very interested to know that. Finding out that Mark the Shark was in Kristen's DMs multiple times. Like, from what I read on Reddit and Twitter, Mark the Shark is a terrible human being. So I was supporting him against Lindsay, but now I know that he's pretty bad himself. But I'm interested in seeing that. But I'm just mad that it means that the reunion is 2 weeks away rather than this next week coming up. If you guys have any thoughts, or if you would like me to review this next tell-all episode, please let me know in the comments. I don't intend to, but if you want to see it, let me know, because I absolutely will for you guys. But I will definitely be doing the reunion. And let me know if you guys have any thoughts about the reunion. We all saw the upcoming preview, what you think is going to happen at the reunion. A lot of people are speculating that Kirsten and Shaq got back together because they're matching. I don't think so. I think Shaq is such a narcissist that he just probably asked someone what Kirsten was wearing so he can be matching her. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe they're friends now. I don't know. But if anybody knows or has any tea, drop it in the comments. Let me know. And I am excited to get back to you about that episode. I will see you guys then. Bye. Have a good night.